Okay, are you ready to get inspired? Okay, my next guest is a story of resilience, creativity, and definitely unapologetic ambition. She is someone who has turned what could have been a devastating setback into a thriving an empire that's empowering women everywhere. She is the founder of The Skinny Confidential. She is a true example of what it means to take control of your life and your narrative. After suffering from a serious jaw injury, she could not she could have let that insecurity and self-doubt hold her back, but instead, she used that experience as fuel to create something extraordinary. Her journey from feeling super insecure to becoming a wellness and beauty mogul is nothing short of remarkable. She created the ice roller, an absolute game changer in the beauty world, and so much more. She's built a brand that's all about empowering women to feel confident, strong, and beautiful in their own skin. And here's something even more amazing. In such a short time, she's made an incredible impact and has so much wisdom to share with us today. So please join me with a warm 10X ladies welcome to the fabulous, the fearless, and the fiercely driven Lauryn Bosstick of Skinny Confidential! Lauryn!
Me so yummy, all the sauce so yummy. No, you want this yummy? Me, your
How many people have a Skinny Confidential ice roller? I mean, if you don't, that's just, I don't know, like, how are you functioning in life? Lisa will tell you. She loves hers. Okay, so tell us about how this all started for you. You had a jaw injury. Tell us what happened there and how you were able to seize the moment when, that could have just introverted you for the rest of your life and not been the outcome that it is today.
Yeah, thank you for having me. This is a beautiful crowd.
So great. Aren't my girls great?
Yes.
Thank you.
I created the ice roller because I had a horrible jaw surgery. And it wasn't necessarily about the jaw surgery, it was more the after effects of it. So I was swollen probably for 2 years. I think I showed you a picture.
You did.
It was like Sloth from the Goonies, so swollen for 2 years, and I really had an identity crisis. I remember looking in the mirror and not recognizing myself, and I think looking back, it's a really good moment in time for me to reflect and think that at that point, I think I was leading with my looks. And now I've realized that you have to lead with so much more. And I'm really excited to be here because everyone in the audience I know is the same way. You want to be a multifaceted woman. So that was this moment where I was like, it's not about the way you look, you have to have more umph. So I sort of took it as a two-pronged approach. I became a practitioner of swelling, and I learned all about swelling, and I realized that there were so many things on the market that were targeted to women with skincare, but they weren't fighting the swelling. And I'm someone who wakes up puffy. After I have a glass of wine, I'm puffy. If I sleep wrong, I'm puffy. If I'm not slanted at the right angle, I'm puffy. So I noticed that there was a white space to create something for swelling. And then I also realized at that moment that I had to become, like I said, more multifaceted in other areas. So it was a really sort of a two-pronged approach to create the ice roller. And it took 4 years to create. It was something that I wanted to be perfect for the audience. And I really talked to the community on a daily basis and saw what they wanted. So they sort of became like investors in the product, which was super cool because when it launched, they wanted to be a part of it.
Oh, that's amazing. And when you were in the suffering stage, how were you, or what was the crucial or the pivotal moment where you said, I've had enough, and you had this mind shift change? Like, was there a moment? And then how did you pull yourself out of that to do it?
I became really obsessed with mindset, and I became really introspective in the sense I started meditating and I started visualization and manifestation and thinking about the way that I wanted my life to go. And I still do this on a daily basis, and I think the most important relationship that you have is with yourself. And for me, that involves a lot of being quiet and being strategic about the future and not just thinking of a goal, but actually creating systems to get to the goal. So what I did with that opportunity is I got really quiet, I got really introspective, and I started thinking about how I could design and create my own future with launching products. And I think if you have any kind of idea, that quiet thinking time is so important to creating a big life. Like, if I didn't have my space, I wouldn't have clarity. So the mindset shift was a big one there. It was like I realized how important it was to be strategic to create your own future. I got quiet, I journaled, I really laid out what I wanted the next 10, 20, 30 years of my life to look like.
And so I love that, designing your life. And well, how did you deal with the challenges of when the vision that you had didn't match where you existed in at that time, present time?
Yeah, I'm someone who has always tried to look at every adversity in my life as fuel as opposed to being the victim. I lost my mom at a really young age, and that I remember being in that and thinking, I can literally let this take my life right, or I can let it take my life left. And I think with any adversity, you have to make that decision, and it has to be very black and white. You are what you believe. If you're telling yourself you suck, you have low self-esteem, that narrative is going to come throughout your future.
And so what advice would you have for somebody that is faced with those challenges right now? Like it's easier said than done. I do realize, but is there something, because you seem like you've been through some challenges with your mother, with the job, there's like somebody put yourself back in that place where you were really having a difficult time getting out of it. Like what is the one thing that you would give them as advice right now? Just say, do this. Don't think about it. Just do this.
My advice is very blunt. It's not padded. It's like you just have to wake up and make a decision that you're going to change the narrative in your head. People have all had adversities and hardships in your life. I'm really into Louise Hay. She's since passed on, but she's
I know.
my
Okay.
favorite. I love her. And it's like you have to monitor the way you're thinking on a daily basis because like I said earlier, that is creating the future that you have. If you're living in the narrative, first of all, no one wants to hear people complain. And second of all, if you're telling yourself how bad it is all the time, how can you possibly make it better? If you don't believe in yourself and you're constantly living in the story of what the story is and creating this narrative day after day, you're just hurting yourself. So for me, it's like put on your bootstraps, pick yourself up, and start creating really positive habits throughout your day to get you to these big goals that you have. I am not someone that is the friend that my friends call when they want to wallow. It's just, and I have a feeling you aren't either.
No.
Yeah, I have a feeling.
That's my follow-up question to you.
It's like you can wallow, but it's doing nothing but doing yourself a disservice.
Yeah. And that was my follow-up question. What do you do with people that don't fit into this new mindset that you have? Are you, I don't know. What do you do? Do you not let them in? Do you not give them attention? Are you just bold and blunt? Like, who gets to be in your life?
I'm someone that doesn't like to waste time. My number one asset is my time, and I'm very methodical and thoughtful about how I spend my time. And I think if someone is around me that is toxic or draining or complaining all the time, I'm to the point where I'm a mother of two kids. I'd rather be with my kids. And I kind of look through a lens of that, is it worth being away from my kids? And if it's not, it's kind of a no. I think if you have a family member who's toxic and you have to be in their life, I think there's ways to limit it. I think that it could be like arm's length things slowly. I don't think you have to be so cutthroat, but I try not to let it into my ether. I mean, I'm very, very, very purposeful with the way that I spend my minutes, my hours, my days. And I do audit it every night. I'll literally think, what did not make me feel good today? What do I want to do more of? What do I want to do less of? I think you really have to audit every area of your life. Everyone in this room is responsible for their future. You're in charge. And if you're constantly around someone who's dragging you down, bye. Like, get out of my way, because I got things to do. I feel like you're the same way.
I am the same way, and I was, debating on whether to ask you the next question, but how serious are you about that motto when it comes to a family member? And how do you deal with that?
I think that it's a limiting exposure, right? Thanksgiving, let it rip. I mean, let it rip. It's gonna be something. Christmas, like maybe every other Christmas. Like, I just think there's ways to like send love from afar.
That's right.
I'm thinking of isn't listening. I just think like you just have to look at it through a lens of being selfish. It's also like I am not my best when I'm around someone that is wallowing all the time. And so the way I show up for my kids is very important to me. The way I show up for my husband. And listen, I'm not perfect. I've made mistakes. And I've learned from them. I'm really trying to learn from the mistakes and be just militant with my time.
I love that. And her husband, Michael, is here, and I would like to have him stand up so we can give him a round of applause for being in attendance today.
Take your shirt off.
But you're not allowed to answer this next question.
It's gonna be
my question is, in an ideal scene, obviously no one's perfect, but in an ideal scene, how do you show up for your husband? And then how do you show up for your kids?
I show up for my husband by being selfish. I think that I have to get certain things in to show up for him effectively and efficiently. Which means when he starts talking about QuickBooks at 7:30 in the morning, I'm like, stop. I gotta do my stuff, and then I can show up with my full self. I am someone that wants it to be very much a 50-50 partnership. And I think that to do that as a woman, you have to have the ability to be selfish. I want a partnership. It's really important to me to build together. I want to be pushing the same boulder up the same hill. There's so many marriages where you see one person wants to do a bakery and the other person wants to build an empire, and it's misaligned. So I want to get in alignment. I want to get strategic with what we want out of life. I want to be on the same page. I want to be reading the same book, but also the same chapter. And that requires a lot of conversation, a lot of taking walks, a lot of time alone, just being strategic, whether it's date night or just getting away from all the noise. So we really try to prioritize our relationship, but I think that goes back to your relationship with yourself is the most important relationship. And that's the foundation. And like, he can come next.
I do want to ask you a question now. Maybe we can slip a microphone over there, but then, so let's say you want to talk at 7 in the morning. He wants to talk at 7 in the morning. You don't want to talk at 7 in the morning. How do y'all find the happy medium to just that one simple little thing? Because don't you find that it's the simple little things that you find yourself arguing about? Which is so silly.
Yeah, it is the little things. I think that you just set parameters around it. I try to tell him over and over, I am not my best until 10. Make an appointment. Make an appointment. I'm not joking. Make an appointment. He knows that now. He tells my kids we're a family that sleeps. Don't wake mom up. Like, he knows, like, don't
whoop him.
He's learned. Trust me, it took a lot of manipulation.
A lot of manipulation.
That's like a whole full-time job. We could do a conference on that. That was a lot of work to like train him.
Okay, how did you do that? Well, I'm sure, do y'all want to know that? Because I'm still working on that, and I have a feeling I'm the one that's been being trained. So maybe if I identify it, I can reverse it.
You do a pretty good job. I have to say, in preparing for this, I went back to my Kindle with your book, and I was telling Natalie off stage, half the book is highlighted. So if you guys need tips on marriage, this is, you know.
Yeah.
She knows what she's
I'm always up for more pointers.
I love a manipulation, a little puppeteering,
Yeah.
a little finesse. They don't need to know.
Right.
It's just, there's behind the scenes always happening. We talked about this. What
Yes.
did you say on the podcast? Like there's the beam and there's the support.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, and then how do you show up for the kids? And so how do you show up for the kids? And is there a specific something that you're like, no matter what I do, I'm gonna get this one thing in with my kids?
I will be honest with you, it's a mind fuck having kids and running a business. It's hard. It's really hard, especially as a woman. I asked Michael the other day, I said, don't you feel guilty like about ABC? Like I want to like be with, Zaza in this moment. And he's like, no. And he really was like, no, I don't feel guilty. I'm working. And I think there's something ingrained in women where we do want to do it all and we want to do it well. And it's really hard to run a business, have a successful marriage, and make sure that the children's needs are being fully met. What I try to do is I try to schedule, and I heard this from Dr. Amen on our podcast, 20 minutes every single day to do something playful with my children without a phone, one-on-one connection. So it could be something just like baking cookies with my daughter, something super simple. So that's just like a micro thing I do. And then Michael and I run our business in a sprint. So we think of it like an athlete. We will go on Monday and do about 30 podcasts in 2 weeks. And then after that week is over, we will go home back to Austin. And it's like that week, my schedule is kind of clear. So I can really devote that week to my children. So I try to like sort of time batch my life. So I do have these moments where I invest just as much as I do into my family as I do into the business. And that's worked really well.
How old are your kids?
They're 2 and 4.
I love this. They're gonna learn that, like they'll have that stability.
Well, your kids too, I think if they see you working, they see what you put into it. It's so important for them to see a woman, their mother being independent. Like I want my kids to see that. That's so important to me.
I love that. And for what we do, thank you. Yeah, really good. We've from young age, like 2, 4, we told the kids, look, this is who we are. We're superheroes, because that's that language at that time. We're superheroes. We help people. We want to make a difference for the better. Do you want to be a superhero too? Yes! Oh my God! Like, you can be one too. We're Team Cardone, and this is what we do. And sometimes we have to be away. And when we do that, we help people. And when we help them, they go back to their lives and they're better with their kids and their finances. So the way that you can contribute as a team right now, you don't have to wait till you're an adult. You can contribute right now. When you allow us to go, you're actually helping people even though they don't see you. You're a superhero. And so we did that Team Cardone, and I love what you're doing. That's really
Gotta have help too. I am not shy to admit that. I think there's a lot of
about that. Some people
influence.
are like, no one's watching my kids.
No, you have to have great help. You have to have women or people around you who are supporting what you do. And I don't mean just like, I'm not talking about a nanny. My assistant helps me run my entire life. She's monitoring my time. Someone who helps me with the house. Like, I think to perform at the level that I want to perform at, I have to have a team around me who's helping to support the goal. So everyone around me knows what the goals are on a macro and a micro basis. And, if I did not have help, I would not be able to do this. So I think that's really important to just be very blunt and say, I'm not trying to be an octopus.
Yeah, like you have to delegate out at some point. But it's also those people in your lives that allow you to do the work that you can't do at that time so that you can actually be with your kids. I would rather have somebody help me with the house and the cooking and the doing the dishes so that I can be eating with them and hanging out or watching whatever we do, baking cookies or whatever.
Yep, so true.
Yeah. So, okay, I'm debating on whether I leave Michael alone or not. How did y'all meet, by the way?
Michael
How
and
long have y'all been married, too?
I don't know how long we've been married. Michael would probably know. He's better with numbers.
Does he do the numbers? And
yeah, he does the numbers. He's more of a numbers guy. I'm very much into my creative direction era right now. I'm very into creating. So Michael is very helpful with that. kind of the way his brain thinks. He's taught me a lot along the way.
What did he teach you?
He's taught me all about compound. He's taught me all about like compounding interest. He's taught me about he's taught me, well,
How important is a
he's
woman
taught me about assets.
finances? Did you know finances? Did he help you with
He's
numbers?
helped me with finances. And I think that's also something I'm not afraid to admit. I think that I'm very, very aware of what I'm good at and what I'm not so good at. And I double, triple, quadruple down on what I'm good at. I always have done that.
What are you really good at, other than the obvious? But what?
I think that what lights me up is creating something out of nothing. Creating and designing things. And also, I like to be on stage. I like to podcast. I like to interview people. Like, that's where I think I thrive. And I think Michael...
A visionary marketer, or getting the attention.
Yeah.
Like you're the dance, what is it? What do they do? You know what I'm talking about. The dancing monkey, or like the Barnum and Bailey. Like
I'll be the dancing monkey.
Okay.
And he's very behind the scenes. He enjoys the operations of it.
Yeah.
And I think that sometimes, like, you know, with this girl boss era, like, we've been fed that we sort of have to be it all, and we have to be the CEO, and we have to, like, I know what I'm good at, and I know how to be effective, and I know what I want to do as a visionary. Like you said, that's a word I relate to. And anything that doesn't fall in line with that needs to move out of my way, and someone who's better at it can do it. Now, I don't know that advice is right. A lot of people would sit up here and tell you to learn every facet of the business. And I do have small understandings of a lot of facets. I get on my finance call once a week, but I'm not a control freak about it. I know what I should be doing and where I should be going to get to where I need to be.
Good. And do you trust everybody else on your team to do their job so that you can do yours?
I do.
Good.
I do.
And then, so you're talking about what you do, creativity, like your creative abilities. Well, what steps did you take to ensure that you would have this competitive, what is it called? Like a competitive advantage, thank you, in the marketplace?
When it comes to product?
Yeah.
I think it's a two-pronged approach. We try to do that with our podcast, and sort of, the podcast is almost in a way content marketing for the product line. I think the competitive edge that I see is that everyone is either like skincare or beauty or wellness, and how I see the Skinny Confidential brand is it's a routine brand. So everything we design, what I saw someone wearing the driving gloves, like that fits into your routine. We launched mouth tape. The mouth tape fits into your routine. So what I think of my brand is daily habits. And I think that's the competitive advantage, especially with consumables. It's an incredible business because it's something people use every single day, as opposed to just being like, we're a beauty brand, we're a skincare brand. It's sort of, it's more than that. And I think that kind of is disruptive.
Did you have a mentor, like, or are you just figuring this out as you go, or
I think that's a good question, because that question I think comes up a lot. If you are sitting around waiting to execute because you don't have a mentor, I would call you out. I think that the mentors to me have been books, have been podcasts, have been, I mean, you can pick up a Kindle. I also think like you can simultaneously execute as you are being a student. There's this thing right now where there's so many forever students. I can't be a nutritionist unless I go to this college for 4 years. I just feel like that isn't abundant thinking. You can learn and be at this conference, but also be executing simultaneously. So the mentors to me are people that maybe don't even know I'm their mentee. Like when I read your book, I hadn't met you yet. So I would say you were a mentor to me. Does that make sense? Like, it's like, it doesn't have to be, she is great. Her book is amazing, by the way. I think that your mentors can be books. Like, it doesn't need to be so serious, and don't wait to execute because you don't have a mentor.
So how important is self-enhancement then? And how much time do you spend on self-enhancement, listening to podcasts and books? And how much time do you spend on that?
I think that...
And do you continue to?
Oh yeah. I'm huge on self-advancement. I just think there has to be the simultaneous execution happening at the same time. So what I would do after this conference is I would go look at the 5 people that you're listening and watching. And everyone says, oh, you're the 5 people you surround yourself with. I actually don't think that anymore. I think you're the 5 people content that you're consuming. So I have someone that I go to for business, that I go to for wellness, that I go to for beauty, and I stick with those 5 people, and I don't waste time on anything that isn't elevating. So if there's something like gossip or draining, or the person doesn't make me feel good, I don't watch it, I don't look at it, I mute it, I get it out of my ether, out of my way.
So I just heard you say that you pick those people and you pretty much go all in on them. And in the world of social media now, where everybody is an expert, it's maddening. How do you decide who those people are? Like, what is your bar level? Should people have a bar level? Because you said you discredit everyone else. What is your bar minimum of what says, yes, I listen to you, and nope? What is that bar?
I think it has to make me faster, stronger, better. So a great person that I really love, this might be random, is Tim Grover. He wrote the book Relentless.
He's spoken at 10X Growth Conference many times. Love him.
I mean, he's amazing.
Love him.
His content, every time I see it, I star it. Like, it's just, if there's something about it that I just feel is amazing. Robert Greene, amazing. He talks about seduction. He talks about human nature, power. He's very interesting. Every time I consume his content, I feel like I've learned something. Ryan Holiday, amazing. If you know, I'm really into stoicism, and I think that his content, I star that. You have great content. And I also, you know, it's fun to meet people on the podcast because you kind of get to see behind the Wizard of Oz curtain. Like, you get to see, is this person actually practicing what they preach? Is this person just selling an ebook, trying to make money, or are they actually putting in the reps? So the podcast has been a really great way for me to sort of like weed out what I need to be focused on. And I will tell you, any second that I call it passively multitask, I take. So if I'm doing my makeup, a podcast is on. If I'm walking the beach, a podcast is on. If I'm riding my bike, a meditation is on. If I'm making the bed, an audible is on. Like, I just take every speck of a moment and squeeze it out like a toothpaste tube, and I try to use that as sort of the self-enhancement.
Frickin' love that. And so walk us through, if somebody has you have systems.
Oh, yeah.
So you have your own systems. So are you able to walk us through like a little mini system? You get an idea. Now, how do you bring it to marketplace? What is your system?
One thing I don't like to do is talk about it, and I think that this is
why, because you're afraid
I'll talk about my system. No, I don't like to talk about an idea too long.
Right, because why? Because you think it's going to jinx it?
I just don't like. I feel like talk is cheap.
Like you're going to show it.
Move it along.
Got it.
Yeah, like if I have an idea for a product, like, let's go. The mouth tape, I had the idea. It's 6 months. It's there. I like it to be in motion, like a tumbleweed.
Okay.
That's kind of how I think of any idea. And I think, like, after this conference, the real moment is tomorrow when this is over. The moment for everyone here is to go move the tumbleweed after this. You want to come to a place like this with all these incredible people and take every speck of the toothpaste tube and apply it to your life. And so that's how I look at an idea. If I have an idea to launch something tomorrow, First, I would get a call on the books with my team immediately. I would say, let's do a call, 30 minutes, sometimes 15, to be honest, because we got to move. So get the call on, I tell the team exactly what I want, how I want it, and then I have an incredible team who helps move things. We're over text, we're over Slack, we're voice noting, but we're moving the idea forward. And then from that, the system is to set deadlines. So by next week, I'll have a rendering. By the week after that, I'll have color choices. The week after that, I'll start asking social media, what they think. Like, I like to have the systems in the calendar so there's actual tangible takeaways. Where people get in trouble is they say an idea, but there's nothing to back it up. You have to have the little systems to move the ball forward. That is when an idea can really come to fruition. without the systems, I mean, I wouldn't have a product line.
Do you have a system for firing people? Like, is there 3 strikes you're out? Is it we train, like, do you have a system for that?
I'm not a good firer. See, this is something I'm just not, this is
That's
not,
good. You've got to know that.
I'm like, Michael.
Wait, you keep them. Oh, you're like Michael.
That's
The
not,
assassin over there
I don't-
gets to do it.
He's good. He's great. He knows exactly how to fire someone. You'll have to, he's like, he knows exactly what to do. That is not where I thrive. And like I said, I am self-aware of where I thrive. And that to me, like, in a way, it's wasting the capacity that I have to be more effective in another area.
Okay, but not actually doing it yourself. But when are you at the point where you're like, assassin, get it done? Or do you leave it up to him to decide? Like, how many errors, mistakes? When are you like, red flag, you're out, you're anti-team Bosstick?
I can deal with anything, but I cannot deal with someone who's not resourceful. When people are bringing me the same problem or problems all the time,
Repeat offenders.
if I'm the type of person, like, you tell me to kill a tiger, I'm like, I'll figure it out. I can't come through the front door, the back door, the window, I'm coming through the fucking chimney. Like, I will figure out a way to, like, so I need people who are resourceful.
Yeah.
It's really important.
Okay.
And if they're not resourceful and they're bringing me problems that are very easily able to be fixed, that to me, it's not the right fit.
Got it. By the way, you should check out her podcast, the His and Her Show.
You were on it.
I know.
Yeah.
Definitely check out that episode.
Your clip went viral.
8 million, yes, 8 million views.
Yeah, people loved
You
it.
got me y'all, I thanked your husband backstage. Y'all got me a lot of followers.
No, but that's not,
Thank you.
that's the thing. I didn't get her the followers. Not every podcast guest gets the followers. You came on and people resonated with you. So they went and followed you. Not everyone gets followers like that. There was something about you.
Thank
You
you.
have to come back on
Deal. Done.
to
Done.
discuss.
So, okay, but before, because you've had huge celebrities on your podcast, how did you, before you were so huge with millions of followers, how did you attract, or how did you even get them to return your phone call in the early days to even get people on the show?
I had a system, and I think anyone can do this system. This is not anything special to me. I launched the blog 13 years ago, and what I would do is I would go to 100 different people on Twitter a day, and I would ask to interview them. And this is, models who were small, models who were big, big celebrities, small celebrities, D-list, A-list. I would do 100 people a day, militant about it. I would reach out, I would say their name, I would acknowledge something important about them. It was not like a lazy reach out, it was very thoughtful. And I would DM them on Twitter. This is when Twitter was popular. And let's say one of them responded. I took that one and I said, hey, Charlotte, I just had blah, blah, blah on the blog. I would love to interview you. So I sort of used each one as leverage to get the next one. And before you know it, you've got, again, this tumbleweed. I think, though, this is important to say that this has been over 13 years. And it takes patience, and it takes time, and it takes putting in reps. It's just like weightlifting. And I think that is really important because a lot of people want this instant gratification, and that's just not the way building an empire works, as you know.
I do.
It's a lot of little
Discipline.
things. A lot of
Or when you don't want to.
Yeah.
Which brings me to you work out all the time. How important is that mentally to achieving the success that you have?
Yeah, I mean, I look at my life, like I said earlier, as an athlete. I'm a performer. And to do that, I have to put in the behind the scenes strategy. And one thing to me that's a non-negotiable every day is that I move my body. I lost 60 pounds twice.
What?
Woo. It was a journey. I lost 60 pounds twice because that's how much I gained when I was pregnant. And I think I've learned how important compounding is through that, because it's showing up every single day. Maybe you don't have a 10 out of 10 workout every day, but it's the act of showing up and having the system and putting in the reps that really makes things big happen. And whether that's getting podcast guests or working out, the working out to me is like a theme throughout my whole life. The way I look at working out is how I look at my business, how I look at my family, how I look at my relationship. It's all reps. And I think working out, it's not just amazing for your body, it's amazing for clarity and for discipline. And it's just so important to me that it's just non-negotiable.
But do you always, yes, y'all wanted to clap for that. So then that brings me to, like, how do you develop more discipline as time goes by to do what you don't want to do?
Yeah, I think something that's really helped me with doing things I don't want to do is cold plunging. And if you don't have to cold plunge. No, I'm telling you, Elena, you would love it.
I
love it.
I know. We're gonna get one installed.
Yeah.
We finally broke down. I mean, we have them. We make them. The 10X health system.
You gotta
has
get
a
it, you gotta
10X
get in it and host the conference when you're in it. I'll do it with you.
Deal. Okay, so next 10X ladies, I'm gonna have you back. Is that how it's gonna work? And we'll put 2 ice plunges up here.
Yeah.
And wait, are we gonna? How long do you stay in it before we?
4 minutes.
4 minutes. We're gonna interview from the cold plunge,
Sure, let's do it.
and then we get out, wrap ourselves in robes, and then we can complete the interview.
Yeah, done.
Next year, Natalie, you're doing the interview. No, I'm just kidding. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Okay, shake on it.
Okay, oh my God. Uh-oh.
Okay. All right. I know every single guy is coming to see that for the next one. Okay, so where are we? I got all distracted when you said cold plunges. Okay, go on. So cold plunges has helped discipline your mind like the reps?
If I'm being really honest, I think as a society, we've gotten way too comfortable. I think that there is this addiction to comfort. I want to put myself in the most uncomfortable situations on a micro daily habit every single day. And I think when I get in that cold plunge and I'm in there for 4 minutes, there is nothing that you cannot throw at me that day. I will be stoic, I will not be reactive because I've done the hardest thing in the morning. It builds your mental toughness. I'm all about doing uncomfortable things to get comfortable. The most successful people, they are uncomfortable all the time. That's how they become comfortable. And I think you just have to make a choice. Like, are you willing to go out of your comfort zone, whether it's getting on stage or getting on a mic and podcasting or doing things for wellness or putting yourself in the gym and lifting heavy weights? That is what builds, in my opinion, a disciplined, resistant person. I think it's so important.
Me too. And it's part of a big reason why Grant and I have had so much success is we did that for so long. I perceive that somebody out there is thinking, well, gosh, that's really overwhelming. Do you do anything? Because you're listening to podcasts, to this, to that. Is there any one thing that you do that's just like, fuck it, I'm gonna have fun right now? Like, give them something. Like, can I just have a moment or no? Because I went through that. I'm not kidding. I went through so rigorous to get where we were. We did not. I'm not even lying. It was pre-social media. You didn't see Sacrifice Phase. There was not a fun moment. People called us fuddy-duddies. There were no going out. There's some people here in this room that can attest to that knew us before we got married and when we got married and who were there when I actually had birthed babies in my home and helped deliver them. But like we were, Denise, we were like that. We didn't have fun, but we said we're gonna pay the price right now so that we could pay any price to go on yachts in the south of France and to do whatever, to pay any price later. But I'm just wondering, do you have the moments now and you're like, no, that's too extreme? Or where are you at in that? Because now I'm having a little more that time.
I want people to look at Michael and I and say they know how to live. I am all about living. Last night we went out, we had a bottle of wine, we walked on the beach, Michael and I hung out alone. It was amazing. Like, yes, of course, I think it's so important to have fun. But I just think that when I'm in the game, I am 100% in the game. So I have to have things around that can make me super effective. I love traveling. I'm all about traveling, but how we've designed our life is that I'm able, and this has been over 13 years, I'm able to travel and take pictures of products as I'm traveling and simultaneously support the business while traveling. And I think that living life is so important. I do something, one of my favorite things to do, I've never talked about this on social media, is like a lot of girls on TikTok, they'll rot, where they like lay in bed and they like just do nothing.
This is the thing.
This is the thing.
My kids are never watching TikTok.
No, don't worry. I don't like to rot. I like to marinate.
Is that a thing too?
No, I just made it up.
Oh, okay.
like-
I just gotta know.
And
My kids talk to Natalie all the time, and they have this secret language, and I feel so
I
like
bet you they talk about
I have
rotting.
no idea what they're talking about. They're like the
Rotting is
rotting.
done.
This,
Like
that,
you
are you a
put it there and you just do nothing.
Okay, got it. I'm tracking.
Marinating is like when you put all your skincare on, you put your sheet mask on, you have your ice roller. Housewives, I like a plowman's lunch. I'll do it with my daughter where we'll do like 20 different things on a plate, like a little sourdough toast, some cornichons. Like I like a little snack plate, and you just do nothing but watch Housewives and get all your skin hydrated and moisturized.
Oh, that's what you do for fun.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna try this. We did that one night on the boat. Remember? It was so fun. I'm watching Gossip Girl for the first time. It's really
So
good.
you're probably marinating.
I'm marinating,
Yeah.
and we didn't do the mask because we forgot that part, but we brought them. But anyway, thank
I'll
you.
send you my favorite mask. There's an amazing mask, and you just sit there and you just let all the goodness of the mask seep in while you do nothing.
Okay, all right. We're gonna get all. By the way, you had a little special thing that you were gonna offer. Are you still good with offering that today?
XTSC, you guys can use it on the site. If you
Okay,
don't have
so
a
where did they
product,
go?
you
They
gotta
go.
get the ice roll.
You've got to check out all of her products, and then we'll get back on with some questions. But I thought it was so generous that you came here today because you wanted the 10X ladies to have a special discount at your product store. Oh, they even had a thing. Oh my God, I love my team.
And if you haven't taped your mouth shut at night, mouth taping has completely changed my sleep, my jawline. And
You've
my
got to
tongue
talk about this.
posture.
This sounds weird. What is it? Natalie, her watches everything. And
New mouth tapes.
by the way, I found out she makes Brandon do it.
Brandon mouth tapes, and it's only her mouth tape. She makes the world. This is a picture of Brandon in bed with the mouth tape. Luckily, there's no camera on me right now, but he loves this stuff. I do too, but it's not just for the girls, it's for the men too.
What is the mouth tape? This just stops snoring? What does this do?
So it supports your tongue posture. So it's essentially making your masseter muscle stronger, which is amazing for your jawline. And it supports you while you're sleeping and encourages nasal breathing. Nasal breathing is so important when you're sleeping because you wake up with 20 times more energy. If you are a mouth breather, this will change your sleep.
And the tape goes like this to this?
It's like a big pink lips, and it just goes over.
Pink? You're making Brandon wear pink lips?
Yeah, Brandon likes.
Do we have a man one or men don't care? Brandon wears the pink lips.
Yeah,
Is this the only one they come in?
yeah. There's only pink.
There's not, okay. All right, there's only pink lips.
I'm gonna send you some mouth tape and some masks.
Okay. I'm gonna try it.
I think you'll like.
It's not uncomfortable?
No.
But because I have, these things are really strong and I like grind my teeth.
A lot of people don't have, yours are very strong, but a lot of people are wanting that.
I'm coming over. I bet you I have the strongest one she's ever felt.
Yeah, you do.
How many?
No, I already noticed that about you. When I saw you, in a good way.
Oh,
No, it's very
And I'm
attractive.
gonna strengthen it.
Yeah.
That's really strong.
But it'll really promote nasal breathing, so I don't think it'll make it stronger.
I don't want stronger.
Or, well, you don't,
Okay.
see, if your mouth is hanging open all night, it's aging because it's gravity. So
That's all you had to say. Give me the code and buy like.
I will never sleep without mouth tape in my life. I'm so passionate about it. I can't even tell you. It's changed my life.
Okay, so we're not even gonna go to the sex time. You're like, wait, I just removed it. I don't wanna. You know what? You stay on your side of it. I got my mouth on.
Do not disturb to Grant.
It's a do not disturb.
Yeah, do not disturb. I'm asleep.
I'm gonna be quiet.
System.
Grant's like, okay, never mind. Just let's move on. I'm not good with sex stuff. Grant, at this point, 20 years later, he would be like, girl, you can keep your mouth closed. I can do what I have to do. You can just pretend like you're still sleeping. I don't care. I'm glad he's not here because he would be getting so, oh, Jesus, my kids are here? I am mortified. We've actually only had sex twice, and there they are. Okay, how important is collaborations to your business? Help me move on. I think I'm actually turning red. I don't.
How important is collaboration?
Yes, how important? This is very important. How important are collaborations to business?
I think that the person who's the best at collaborations is Oprah. What Oprah did so smart is that she did not just uplift herself. She uplifted Dr. Phil. She uplifted Dr. Oz. She brought other people up with her. And I think what we try to do with the podcast is we try to bring on the best of the best in their field, and we try to give them platform to talk about all of their tips that the audience can take and apply to their own life. And I think collaboration is everything. Like, you have to be collaborative. It cannot just be like the Lauryn Bosstick show. It gets old. It's boring.
Yeah. So we say, Brandon said this actually the first time, like collaboration is the new currency.
Yeah.
Don't you love that?
100%.
Yeah.
You guys do that beautifully. I mean, look what you're doing here.
Yeah.
It's so important to collaborate with other people. And it could be someone, I also think it could be someone that is just starting. I sometimes have brought people on the podcast that have never been on a podcast. They're so random off social media. They have 100 followers. It doesn't need to always be like these huge people that you're collaborating with. Like, start anywhere.
Yeah, agreed. Y'all have any questions? I feel like somebody has a question out there. It's got to be a good one, though. Don't get in your story.
She's raised her hand.
Okay,
There.
right here, but it better be right here?
She in the back I think it's brown sweater.
Okay, we're gonna go here and then there, and then no more because I'm greedy with my time. And a question, not like a on and on and on. Okay, wait, did you have a question? Yeah, go ahead. Can we get her a mic? Yeah. This is the one standing up, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So y'all pulled my attention. I can feel y'all. I'm very in tune. Was I right about that? Okay, go ahead.
2 questions. 1, can I be on your podcast?
She's greedy. Okay,
Well, I have to know more about you.
okay, okay,
I'll do
next.
it after.
Okay,
That's good. She's got limited time. And then 2, what's your favorite system?
My favorite system?
Yeah.
I think your first hire should be someone who is obsessed in your calendar every speck. Meaning, I have driving time, I have when I'm showering, I have every single thing systematically put into my day because I think that you are your habits. And if you don't have someone who's constantly looking at each day from a bird's eye view, you're not going to be able to create what you want long term. So the person who's running your day is the most important person to your systems. That's the first hire, in my opinion.
I love that. That was a good question. Good. Next one. Do we have a mic right here? Go ahead. One sec.
Thanks, Lauren. I had to wear this to get your
So cute.
attention.
You got
I
my
listen to you every morning, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. You and Michael. Hey, Michael from Canada. You guys rock. And just wanted to say, as you continue through this platform, if you could talk about Dear Media and the foundation that you really built for women of all different voices, loving how you have people come onto your show saying, this side of the aisle, we don't give a, we're here, we don't care what advertisers do. I've heard Michael say that to give everyone a platform to advance themselves. Can you talk a little bit more about staying rooted and being that interviewer and bringing more of that to the world as entrepreneurs and business owners? Would love to hear your perspective.
That's a good question. You get a pass on that. Very well done. Okay, go ahead.
Dear Media is my husband's company. He founded it. I think they have over 80 female-focused shows on the network. He does not micromanage anyone's show. Right, left, whatever. He lets everyone speak freely. Personally, on my own podcast, I think we've gotten to this place where we cannot have conversation. And what I want our podcast to be is, I don't care if I disagree with you. I want to understand you. So we have had everyone from Chelsea Clinton to Tomi Lahren to someone who thinks this and someone who thinks that. And what I've learned how to do, and I want to continue to do this with Dear Media and our podcast, is just hear people out. There's never been one person on the podcast that has come on that has a bad intention. Everyone is coming from their own perspective and experience in childhood. And I just think to be able to work that muscle is really important in a society right now where everyone is screaming at each other online. So that's what I hope Dear Media does, is it's all different kinds of opinions. And who cares if you don't agree? Because guess what? In life, you're gonna be around people that you don't agree with. And you have to be able to sit in that and have eloquent conversation. And so that's what I hope the extension of the podcast does as well, is just opens it up to a non-judgmental space.
Do you have an opinion on what some perceive to be a silencing if you don't have the voice that that certain social media outlets or news outlets want you to have, that they don't want to hear it? They say, "Oh, should you not have," like, I don't think you see it that way. I think everyone should be able to have a voice and be able to
100%.
and then let the consumer decide what they want to follow through with and believe or not believe. True?
Totally. I think
I love that
I'm
you're doing that.
unapologetically going to be disruptive, and I'm going to say my opinion, and no, not everyone's going to like me. And I became okay with that a long time ago. But that is a muscle that you work. And I think this is so important to talk about this. When I first started out 13 years ago, I cared. Now, I don't give a shit. Like, you could say anything, I don't care anymore. But that's because I've been thrown every single thing you could, I mean, you know, from your 8 million view situation, like when you get thrown all of it, it builds the resilience muscle. So my thing is, if you're scared to launch something and you're scared to put yourself out there, not everyone is going to like you, and that's okay. That's what putting yourself out there and being confident does. You're not gonna win them all. So my thing is, like, I say what I mean and mean what I say, and if you don't like it, change the channel.
I like that. That could be on a shirt. If you don't like it, change the channel. Right?
There's a lot of different channels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, before we wrap up, I just wanted to know, what are your parting words for this incredible, dynamic, energetic group of women who have invested in themselves these last couple of days, who want to go to a heightened level of success? They are here self-enhancing. What are your words to them on anything?
I think the most important message that I can say is your thoughts become your future. And I think that it's really important to be aware and monitoring your thoughts on a daily basis. So what I would do after this conference is I would go home and I would start monitoring the way that you think. Are you waking up with negativity, or are you waking up talking about all the things that you're grateful for? Are you going throughout the day telling yourself, I'm bad at this, I suck at this, I can't do this, I shouldn't be doing this, I don't have the expertise? Or are you being your own cheerleader? Because if you don't believe in what you're doing, how do you expect anyone else to? And I think that that's the message. It's having confidence within yourself, and that's what attracts people. And I could just say, you know, low self-esteem, not having confidence, it's repelling. And that's just the truth. And so I think waking up tomorrow and making a decision that you are your thoughts, you're gonna monitor your thoughts, and you're going to create the life that you want with those positive, uplifting thoughts is the message that I have.
I love that.
Thank you, guys.
Wait, I have one last question. Don't think you're done.
Oh.
Lastly, if you were like the God and you could, whatever you're about to say comes true, what do you see and want for each and every person here?
I think that it would be doing yourself a disservice to not live up to your full potential. That's what keeps me going. That's my message in my head every day, is I will not sleep or stop until I have reached my full potential. I think people on their deathbed, that's probably, if you talk to them, what they say is they didn't feel like they reached it. And if you're in your own way and you're stopping that, you got to get out of your way and you got to execute to get there. Thank you for having me. Cold plunge next to you.
You're amazing.
That was so dope. Thank you. Great interviewer.
Thank you.
I wish we recorded that for the podcast.
Oh,
Fun.
wait, we did. We
Did
recorded it.
on the podcast. Can you make that happen, Michael?
Oh.
See, that's where you delegate.
I mean, you're amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm
Thank you for
so
having me.
glad that you came here today and that Michael came with you.
Well, Michael's really good at backgammon, and Brandon.
Huh?
So Michael's making some bets over there with Brandon.
No way. You're going to get in on that action? Oh, that's scary. That's scary. That's exciting. Brandon perked up. He was like, oh, maybe someone can like stand in for me. Because the backstory is Brandon and Grant play backgammon. Like, it has to have been thousands of hours. Like, that's what they do for fun. So
While you guys marinate.
while we marinate with Gossip Girl. Yeah, so if he has a stand-in, because right now, you know, Brandon's like, because it makes Grant really happy, and we all want to make Grant really happy. So Brandon, this is behind the scenes. So Brandon's like, I'm the one taking one for the team because he's financially funding it, because right now he's a little behind. And it's, should I tell him the whole story? Okay, I'll just make it really fast. But Grant doesn't share his winnings. But he does in other ways. But Brandon's always like, ladies, and I'm included in that, if I win, I'm going to share with you and Natalie. So Natalie and I are like, yes, win. But it's not quite happened yet. So, Michael, if you want to participate in this along with the same rules as Brandon, we'll have you play backgammon with Grant. And maybe, you know, we won't have to work for a living, you and me, Natalie. I'm just kidding. Okay, let's give a big hand to Mrs. Lauryn Bosstick.
Level up,
Oh my God, you're
level up, level up, level up, level up, level up, level up, level up. All this on me so yummy, all this sauce so yummy. Know you want this yummy, yummy all in your tummy. Level up, 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 level up.
It's time to win.
Everybody do a big 10X. Get your 10X on. Get your 10X on. Get your 10X on. Big 10X. All right.
Yay, thank you.
Woo!